Hello and welcome back. Episode 31 of the Try Time podcast. And for the first time this year, we're back in the studio.
Yeah, we're actually here. We've promised it for weeks now, and it's actually finally happened. And
one of us is not at work, although don't get too used to it because we're back virtual next week. But that's rugby's fault for moving all the games to Monday night. So how can we record a podcast when the games kick off in about half an hour?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So next Wednesday, we'll be recording it for.
Next Monday, we're recording it for Wednesday. Is what we're trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
So we wanted to deliver the usual upload schedule, so you're gonna have to deal with our avatars for one more week. And yeah, we're gonna have some subtle changes next time. So keep an eye on our studio setup. We are looking to upgrade that.
Yeah, that'll be it. Next time we're in studio, that'll all be upgraded and everything.
A round of applause to anyone that guesses it right. But that's for a fortnight's time.
Yeah. So I reckon we get into Challenge Cup results first.
Go on then.
So Catalans 6, Warrington 16. Now this is one of them where I kind of actually backed Catalans for this one, but
I did. I don't know if you've been keeping the tally of our predictions.
But they're probably all shit. They are shit.
They are shit.
Yeah, for both of us, we are absolutely crap. Apart from, I think Championship we're not too bad, but
well, that's only because half of them are crap.
Well, yeah, I guess, but yeah, Warrington 16, Catalan 6. Think you can't knock Warrington. I mean, at the minute they're actually playing decent rugby. It started off a bit shaky.
Well, we can knock one person at Warrington. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce your name, but whoever you are that's just been banned for anti-doping offences.
Yeah.
There we go. Clickbait title: drugs found in the Warrington camp.
Yeah, but I guess with this one, it's thing is with Cup, it's like you can review the results, but like the implication of them aren't that big. Like you're out of the Cup, aren't you, or you're through to the next round. It's one of them.
Yeah.
It's knockout rugby. Fair play to Warrington. Huddersfield actually run Saints close, which were, I guess, probably were the shock of the round, were it? Even though they didn't beat them, they just ran them close. I'm not going to say too much about it being a less shit performance from Huddersfield when you consider that. Well, I appreciate that it doesn't take much to beat Leeds at the moment. I'm pretty sure an under-8 high school team would give them a good game, but yeah,
it went the way we expect. I think we both had Saints to win.
Yeah, I mean, Saints just look like they just can't lose at this point. I mean, they're winning ugly like that. You know, a sign of a good team is when they win, they just grind out these sort of wins, just ticking scoreboard over, just winning your games, and that's what they've done here through to the semi-final. And you kind of can't. It's hard to look at any further than Saints when you think of the winner for Cup this year, and I do think that's some of the targeting as well.
Yeah.
So as well as the league, obviously.
You wrote that down, bro.
No. You see, he's mocking my handwriting on my notes.
It looks like you've put Hull FC versus Hull FC.
Yeah, I have put that.
You have put Hull FC versus Hull FC beat Hull FC is the next game on here.
Hull FC versus Wigan.
That's the one.
20 points to 10 to Hull FC, obviously. Really good game, this. Hull were really good. I think they really stopped Wigan in a way. You know?
Hull FC won, racism nil, potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
If you want to know our opinions on all that fiasco, check out the box in the corner above one of our heads. I don't know if you're going to be aware on this video. You get to listen to me chat about racism for about a quarter of an hour, which I'm sure is a very loving topic. You know it's a serious video when I'm not making jokes and prattling around on a...
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, I don't do the sit-down talking stuff that often.
Yeah. I mean, for this, a couple of weeks ago, Hardaker said he's the best fullback in Super League, and he was arguably the worst player on pitch.
Well, we know Hardaker at Headingley is a very different combination.
Yeah, true. Well,
we all saw 2016, and we all heard what he called James Child there.
Yeah, true.
Which, ironically, derogatory as it is, wasn't exactly inaccurate.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
that doesn't make it right. Let's not put that out there. We are not condoning it.
It arguably makes it worse, though, doesn't it?
I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it does because
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes it worse. But Hull FC through to the semis. Again, they're going to be pushing on for Cup this year. They've got Saints next on us, so that'll be tough. Wigan, disappointed. They just don't seem to be able to do it in knockout rugby as much under Lamb, but they're constant full-fledged going for the league now, and we'll have to see how they get on there. But
I did see something horrible in the sense that it's an absolutely terrible joke on Twitter. Wigan in the league Adrian's lamb's face photoshopped onto a lion. Wigan in the cup, it was photoshopped onto a lamb.
Yeah. Which is also a good pun as well.
It is.
And then we've got arguably the closest game of the round, went to Golden Point, the only game that did so. Castleford versus Salford, 19 points to 8.
And who
18.
kicked the drop goal?
O'Brien.
Again.
He's the king of the drop goals, to be fair.
Well,
at this point.
I mean, it wasn't quite as theatrical as Brad Dwyer's effort, but
it was a scuffed effort as well. It wasn't the cleanest of hits.
Can we just say,
over.
king of the drop goal, it's got to be Mark Sneed for his fantastic effort that I'm pretty sure went further wide than it did forward.
Yeah, it nearly corner flag. Yeah,
that was. I said at the time, I'm pretty sure those two could have done a better job at that.
Yeah, definitely.
That was abysmal. If you do want to see us get out on a rugby pitch and to show how bad we really are...
Oh, speak for yourself, mate. Speak for yourself.
No, I'm speaking for you too. Then let us know. We can try and sort that out and we can embarrass ourselves just for you guys and your entertainment.
Yeah, but Cass, they'll definitely be happy with that. Obviously, ground out a win. And then Powell's off to Warrington next round, which is obviously going to be tasty.
Oh, I thought you meant next year.
No, well, he's off next year and he's off in next round as well. So
should we just ship him there and get Lee Radford in for the game?
Yeah. But Salford, they're looking better. They're showing signs of improvement under Marshall now. And, you know, I think...
It couldn't get much worse.
Nah, but I think, even though this is a cup and it doesn't really affect the league, I think it's a sign that they're going to stay up and they're safe and stuff like that. I mean, you love Salford.
I mean,
so
some of the dross in... I won't go that far. I literally just wanted them to beat Saints the other year. I didn't want them to beat us. But some of the dross in the bottom end of Super League this year, they should hopefully survive.
Yeah, well, for them that's hope so. So now we'll move on to the Superior League, which is the Championship.
Oh, I thought we were on NRL. No. If we're talking Superior Leagues and Championship, where's Queensland Cup results?
Oh, God. Right, so Sheffield 18, Batley 30.
I don't know what I called this one, I can't remember.
I think this is one of them where you'd kind of, if you've not watched Batley a lot this year, you'd have said people are saying Sheffield. Batley, third in the league at the minute, absolutely flying, quality team. Sheffield are doing decent as well, and obviously it's a good close game. Batley have come out on top and looking quality at the minute at Batley, so they'll be happy with that. Then we've got Oldham 4, Whitehaven 36, which was arguably the battle at the bottom essentially. Obviously, they're not necessarily the bottom two, but the two sort of teams that you'd expect to be in and around the relegation scrap. And, you know, I think Oldham will walk away from that very disappointed because I think that's at home, you know, against Whitehaven, that's a big relegation 4-pointer. And, you know, is it going to spell the end to Oldham in the Championship?
Don't know. It's been a bit rough, hasn't it, for them?
Oh, here we go. Puns are out. Next up, we've got arguably the best team in the league playing. So we've got Swinton 22. Bradford.
That's a good point. Swinton are a pretty good team. The way they played Oldham in the Challenge Cup earlier on in the year, that was fantastic. They could have given North Queensland a run for the money then.
Swinton 22, Bradford 23.
I mean, come on. They're a team that literally have car parks for stands and you beat them by a point.
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is we were 23 points to 10 up with about 10 minutes to go. Conceded 2 tries, made it hard for ourselves, and then just about managed to squeeze it at the end.
For the benefit of our YouTube viewers, Bradford, bottlers.
But we didn't bottle it though, did we? Because we came through.
We came close.
We came close, but overall in the game we played alright. We just had a spell where we were just absolutely terrible defensively.
A bit like you did for 80 minutes against Sheffield.
Yeah, exactly. Is what it is, isn't it, mate?
I'm just getting the D's while I can because let's face it, Leeds are that shite at the moment. They'd probably lose to Bradford as well.
Yeah, probably. But like we say, Swinton, even though they haven't won a game yet, they are playing, you know, decent rugby and have probably been a bit hard done by in terms of like they just haven't been able to squeeze out a result. So potentially Swinton are in trouble. London 50, Newcastle 30.
A London back then.
I think it just seems like Jared Samet show over there, to be fair. A lot of young sort of...
Well, at least they've got some half-backs now, because they've started cup like we're playing with no creativity because they're all injured.
Yeah, I know they're starting to get players back and stuff now, and obviously Newcastle have got a good young team, and, you know, offensively, Newcastle this season have shown how, you know, good they are. They're sort of up there with some of the top teams in terms of points scored, and that's the score tries. It's just at the other end where they're struggling, like shipping 50 against London. And yeah, I know it's London, but it's not the London of the past few years, is it? You know what I mean? It is a weak London
and it is
side.
still a championship team at the end of the day. It's not like the hosting Wigan.
Oh no, definitely.
Like, you look at the points York conceded against Wigan in the cup.
Yeah.
Compare that to what Newcastle are conceding against championship teams, and there's a stark difference between the two.
Oh yeah, but even more so if you move on to the next game, Toulouse 70, Widnes 0. And this was played at Swinton's ground as well.
For the sake of the Widnes fans, I think we should probably just say no more about that.
Yeah.
Other than Toulouse do not look like they're going to lose.
Yeah, the Toulouse-Fev games are going to be the big games in terms of who's probably not going to be unbeaten.
Is that the grand final? They might win one each.
Yeah, potentially. But I mean, Widnes, I don't think I've been impressed with what I've seen of them anyway this season. I think they do look a bit shaky, kind of not being able to ground out results.
I don't think they'll go down.
Oh, no. 100% they're not even in that conversation, but I also don't think they're in the playoff conversation.
No, potentially. That's fair. Not
there's some good teams, and when you've got a team like Batley, yeah, I know it's early doors, but Batley racking up them wins early on. Batley are a team that I think will just fall off the edge of a cliff, you know what I mean? The form will drop, but they'll still win some games, you know what I mean? It's one of them things where, like, if I were going to back a team to come 5th or 6th, I'd maybe say, you know what, Batley might squeeze in there. But obviously it depends how teams like London and Halifax recover. And I guess Widnes as well, they've got a chance, but I just can't see it personally.
Yeah, they shouldn't on paper have the talent to get some better form on there, but it just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and then, we talk about Halifax, they've actually come back, kind of a bit of a, up and down sort of start to the season. 36 points to 0 against Dewsbury. The sort of win they needed, a bit of a blowout win against Dewsbury. Again, Dewsbury started off strong. They are kind of wavering a bit now maybe, but they have played some decent teams in the past few weeks, so it's kind of understandable. But yeah, Halifax looking good. Hopefully they can pick up some form for them, and then they can push playoffs as well, because they have got a strong squad, arguably stronger than Widnes really.
Yeah. And
now we've got the big tasty clash of the round. York 12, Fev 16.
Close game.
Yeah, again, this game is reiterated how good Fev are. I think the fact they've gone to York, strong York side, and they've done a number on them. This is the sort of game that you could imagine being the grand final.
But for all we're singing Featherstone's praises, fair play to York, they've stuck with them.
Oh yeah.
And we talk about home advantage, but actually, without fans, how big of a deal is that?
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
Because, to me, this just comes down to how well you know the pitch. Well, both teams play on... Well, what is the pitch at York's new ground? Is it 3G or is it...
No, it's real pitch. It's real.
Yeah, both teams have a real pitch. Okay, York's isn't on a hill.
Yeah, true. It's not as... it's newer, isn't it, obviously, but
very new.
Yeah, but there still is the travelling. Like, there's still home advantage instead of it, it's a lot less than it was. There is still an home advantage.
But Featherstone to York is not going to be a notorious commute, is it? They're not going to be tired from travelling, going to the south of France or whatever. Or even up to Newcastle or London. Or, I'm about to say Wales then, but none of them are in the Championship.
Yeah, but I think what I think it is in terms of the home advantage thing is, like, I don't think York have got a home advantage there, because without the fans and stuff anyway, a home advantage would come from, you've got your home dressing room, you've got your everything, it's your club. Like, there is definitely a difference between being at home and being away, just in terms of like even just like what you know everything there.
Do a Super League and play at home in your away game.
Yeah, well. But I think York, obviously, with a new stadium, don't actually have that home advantage in them regards yet, because it still probably to them feels quite alien to have it as an home ground. Because obviously it's a new stadium and everything like that. But again, Fev are high flying, them and Toulouse unbeaten at the minute, up at the top, and then you've got Batley in third, Bulls are fourth, and that, and down at bottom Swinton on 0 points do need to pick up some wins really.
Well, just before we get on to League One, let's go back to the point of home advantage and the fans, because by the time you're watching our next podcast, some of you have probably been lucky enough to go back to a rugby game. Now, don't get me on a rant with Sky at the moment, because why we are the only club that doesn't get to play on a Monday and doesn't get our fans.
Yeah.
If anything, Sky should be paying us at this point, and a hell of a lot more than they're paying the RFL. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like we say, that's why next week we are going to be back remote doing the podcast, because on Monday Bradford are playing at home, so obviously fingers crossed everything should go through fine. Everything. I will be going to that game, and then we will be able to.
You might test LFT positive now on the day before, and it'll be a false one, and you can't go.
Yeah, probably one of them things in it. But that's why, and obviously that's why, because we do next week. We'll want to review the results as well, and also we want to actually be like, what's the reception to having proper fans back in grounds be?
Yeah,
as well.
And I'm not being funny. I do not fancy coming down to the studio at the best part of midnight to record a podcast.
Oh no!
I've got far better things to do in my life when both of us are working the next day.
Oh yeah, that's thing definitely. But we'll get it done. It'll be remote again. But it doesn't matter.
You can cope without us for another week. As much as I'm sure you miss our beautiful faces. Well, mine.
But yeah, I mean, fans back in stadium it's such an interesting kind of. It's going to be interesting, sort of the role it has to play with these home teams. We're going to see more home teams winning this weekend.
Is there enough fans back yet to cause that? Because I'm kind of thinking this atmosphere is potentially going to be a bit dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the most you're going to get is about 4,000 in a ground.
In a big ground, that is as well.
Yeah.
Like, in a Headingley type ground.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Castleford are getting 3,600, so.
Yeah. Yeah,
and as we've already established, they're in a shed.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of grounds. Like you look, I mean, even you look at Tetley Stadium where I'll be going for Bradford games. Like a lot of the fans do crowd together anyway. So
when do you check out of your hotel, by the way?
Hopefully, we'll only actually have a couple of games at Tetley's, and then we'll be back at Odsall. Obviously, if it were at Odsall, it'd be easy to distance. But even at Dewsbury, you don't realise how.
If you were at Odsall, it's easy to distance from pitch.
Well, yeah. You could just stand around edge at pitch and you'd be distant.
Stand on Speedway track half of them, you sorted.
But at Dewsbury, it is sort of one of them where you don't realise that everyone is crowded. Like, you could easily space people out there because usually people are so crowded together. I think it will be.
You've got fixed seats as well that you'll probably be allocated, which
for seating
should be easier. Yeah. But
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's going to be. I think for a team like Bradford, I think realistically we have played much without fans anyway, so I don't think there's been necessarily a clear. Because last season we were playing decent rugby at 5-6 games whatever we played.
But have you got a home advantage? Or is this still not quite like home?
But I actually think with Bradford is I'm not here like.
Yeah, welcome back to the Bradford Bulls podcast again. Not
being biased in any way, but Bradford, I actually would say that having the crowd there would actually help Bradford because I think Bradford has probably got one of the loudest, if not the loudest. Fan base because it's the biggest fan base, isn't it? Realistically, in the championship.
Yeah.
Like you get where I'm coming from. So I do think that there actually will be some evidence there. When you go to some games where there'll be a lower attendance, it's probably not as much. But yeah. I also do think yes, home advantage is a thing, but I think players are get more up for it. For example, if Bradford are playing away at Swinton like we did this week, I know from going to many Swinton away games with Bradford that actually having the away fans there outnumbering the home fans as well, it makes that hostile environment of being at an alien ground, like one that you're not used to, obviously an away ground. I think it can actually have more benefits. Obviously we're not going to have away fans in grounds until
well, this is a question for you. Let's assume this Swinton Bradford match takes place a week later. Do Swinton win with home fans in the ground and Bradford having no one?
Maybe that. It's one of them where it's hard to call, and like what I say about Swinton, there probably won't be that big of an attendance anyway if there were. But even in a small ground like at Swinton's, every little helps. You know what I mean? Having a couple of people in the stand shot.
Tesco brand ambassador.
Having a couple of people, well not a couple, because it'd be a good few hundred, maybe touching like sort of 1,000 or so in ground would have actually helped, and it would. I think it does for any team, but I can't wait. I know we're having fans back now. I can't wait till we've got the proper away games, away fans in. Even as an home fan, when you're watching a game and you've got a big sort of group of away fans at your own ground, it's quality, isn't it?
I'm going to get into another fixture rant. Why could we not have played Catalan at home when there was no fans? Because it's like playing with no fans when they turn up anyway.
Yeah, that is.
And again, true. I don't blame the club for that because I could not afford to fly to England every other week to go watch my team. It's not their fault, certainly not if we get them in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
But they've been quite nice. I mean, you've still got to suffer that flat atmosphere with full crowds as well. Compare that to like Wigan. which normally is a full house. You could feel the old South Stand rocking on its foundations. It was that full.
Yeah. It's one of them sort of ones. I think that's. I mean, you find that in Championship as well. Certain teams, if Bradford are playing Fev, you can imagine there's a big.
Or if Leeds were playing Wakefield, but wait, there's no fans because it's on fucking Sky.
Oh dear, right, I'm not letting you go. So, fans in stadium, positive. We're back in the studio. Fans are back in the stadium from next week.
Yeah.
We finally
let us know if you are lucky enough to go to a game and what you're going to. And also, June 20, whatever the hell Boris says, we're 21st. All allowed out of our cages. What's the first live game you want us to go to? Be realistic, we're not flying to France and I'm not driving to London.
So
other than that, fair game. Knock yourself out.
Newcastle.
You can do that. It's not far on train.
Whitehaven.
Why not? There's some nice roads up there.
West Wales.
That might be a problem. One, are we allowed in Wales? Two, do they block the roads with their knob ends and sheep?
Right, I'm not touching on that. I think
anywhere in the north of England is fair game. We'll let you vote. It's got to be a time when they're away,
right?
Or not on a day where Bradford or Leeds are playing.
Yeah,
they're your only conditions.
Right. So speaking of West Wales, anyway, we'll get into the league.
Yeah, let's get on to sheep shaggers.
Right. So we won't start with West Wales. We'll start with London versus the other Welsh team, Crusaders.
I got very confused when you said London, but you mean Scholars.
London Scholars, yes, of course. And Crusaders beat them 44-24.
Oh dear.
I think there is definitely a split in sort of League One in terms of the teams, and I think you would rank Crusaders above the Scholars.
I miss Crusaders. They were a good team in Super League. I mean, they weren't good.
We're like Jared Sammer in his prime back in the day.
They had everyone back in the day. Ben, we were out. I'm pretty sure I played for Crusaders for a couple of games. Anyway, they had all sorts of people, didn't they? What were them that were at Castleford? That's what I'm thinking of. Young Quest.
Oh yeah, I know him.
That's the guy I'm thinking of.
Yeah. They had some sort of them players that you don't really think that they're not really around anymore. You don't really think of them, but they were all right back.
I was going to say Luke Dawn, but I'm like, no, even Harlequin. That's definitely the wrong player. But no, it was Young Quest.
So yeah, fair play Crusaders. Workington beat Hunslet 28-16. I know you backed Hunslet in this one.
I just said random teams, I'm going to be honest.
Did you go for your local? But to be fair,
why not?
In the League One prediction, I had Workington not making the playoffs, and I mean I had Hunslet up there doing so. And
well, Hunslet are the league champions based on the 2 games that got played last year, so we had to back the champs really.
Yeah. Barrow 38, Coventry 20. Again, Barrow are probably favourites to win the league, and
the Bears look like they're improving actually.
Yeah, Coventry are probably the favourites to be down there near the bottom with sort of your Scholars and that sort of
West
thing.
Wales.
Yeah, potentially. Keighley putting down a statement of intent. Again, probably them and Barrow are the 2 teams you'd expect up there at the top. 44-18 against Doncaster, who again are one you'd expect in playoffs.
Yeah, can't remain you'd up there.
Yeah, Rochdale 40, West Wales 16. Again, improvement from West Wales as well, based on.
Well, yeah, it had been 142 years ago, so that is an improvement. And
yeah, Rochdale again are going to be pushing playoffs.
How's the world famous Gavin Henson getting on?
Didn't play.
Brilliant.
But Chase did, and obviously
that's something.
Rochdale again, they're one of them sort of teams where they'll balance between League One, Championship, but they have got that experienced sort of players around that level. Yeah. You'd always expect them to clean up against a West Wales team that's probably not as experienced. Obviously, it's got Chase, but it's not got players who've played, 100-odd Championship, League One sort of standard games. Do you know what I mean? So probably would expect that. But that's it. Obviously, just 5 games in League One.
Gotta love it, nice and quick.
Got it over and done with.
Quicker than Welsh are with the sheep.
Yeah, usually this is where we jump into fantasy, but obviously no Super League games this past week, so no fantasy this week.
You can run that bit. I've given up.
No fantasy.
I got bored after week 1. Apparently he's been saying this every week on the podcast that when he's back in studio he's going to say he's giving up because he's not in front of me.
And was I right because you've just said that?
Yeah, but what was the first thing I said to you? I'm like, am I not even in front of you? I've not even checked the table to know.
Yeah, well.
So, yeah, I don't really care. I only do it for the sake of a podcast video, to be quite honest.
Yeah, but, well, next week we'll have to see who's sort of up at the top at then.
Yeah, but, I mean, Fantasy Prem's my main one that I actually bother with because that has an app that somewhat works.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's what draws back Fantasy Super League is the fact that the scores are never updated properly.
Should we do that as a one-off thing for next year? Non-rugby related video. Let's just have a try-time podcast, Fantasy Premier League.
Yeah, if people are wanting to be in one, that sort of thing.
Why not? We'll set one up. If nothing else, we'll see how we get on.
Yeah, we both do it and that, don't we? So might as well. Right, well, speaking of Fantasy Super League, well, let's get into next week's Super League fixtures.
Good segue.
So, obviously, we've got the game that's not on the Monday, Leeds versus Wakey.
Well,
your team.
The relegation 4-pointer. Well, this is shit versus shit.
I think I'm going to have to go with shit on that one. Nah,
Right.
well, I reckon Leeds will beat Wakey. I think
bloody hope so.
you're in trouble if you don't, are you, really?
Yes, there's only Lee left.
Yeah. And I think Lee.
And we don't play well against Lee, so we are in big trouble. Shit hits the fan if we don't beat Wakefield. They haven't got Tom Johnson, which is going to be a bonus. And, well, what's going to happen? I'm going to make some bold predictions. Leeds might actually have a halfback, so I think Gale's back. So if he is back, that's a big, big win.
Yeah, just a
Although
pivot
saying that, he looked like he were about 500 mile off the pace when we played him in round 1 because he were rushed back. Wakefield will score the customary try that shows they put some effort in like they do every week.
Yeah.
Probably at end of one of the halves. And that's probably all that's going to happen, really, isn't it?
Are you back in
I've
your
got
boys?
to back Leeds. I can't not, but I am very nervous.
Yeah, I think it'll be a decent game, to be fair. I'm also, like I say, going to back Leeds, I think.
Well, I'll have to watch it on the app because we can't go to the ground.
Yeah, true. Just go like into people's houses where you can just
Them at back.
Yeah, where you can just stand up.
But club owns half of them and they've not let them out this year, so we can't even break in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good point. At least Featherstone fans can sit on the roof of their house and watch a game.
Yeah, true. Right, Cass versus Hull KR.
Cass.
Yeah, Cass. I think Hull KR have shown a lot of improvement this year in terms of based on the last couple of seasons, but Cass are looking strong as well, aren't they? So I do think it's an easy prediction for Cass on this one. Although
Yeah, it is.
KR will give it a good go. Hull FC Catalans. I think Catalans have had a bit of a dip in form, and I think
Hull FC.
FC, even though they've lost a couple of games, they've been in them.
They've drawn a game.
Yeah, well,
First draw since 2018, was it?
18, 17, yeah, since Golden
Whichever
Point,
Golden
yeah.
Point came in.
Yeah, but I'm backing Hull FC on this
Yeah, it
one.
was 18, so it was when we had Ferner and Dwyer kicked one.
Oh, fair enough.
And Ferner was 19. That was very forgettable as well. And we were shit then.
You've been shit last few years, to be fair.
We've been shit. Apart from last year's Challenge Cup, we've been shit since Ardacre snorted coke.
Right.
That was the last game we played well.
Speaking of Ardacre, we've got Lee versus Wigan.
Well, that's going to be Wigan, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Wigan are going to want to bounce back from the cup defeat.
I think Lee have got 2 chances to make it right this year, and both of them are probably against Wakefield.
Yeah, they're the bottom 2. Well, at the minute, and obviously everyone's expecting it to be a battle between them.
Lee haven't done as well as I thought, actually.
After that first game against Wigan, first game of the season, you kind of thought they could actually do something here. But
they've let me down a bit.
Yeah, well, like I said I think if Lee win that first game of the season, the whole mentality and everything changes, because a game like that, they were actually in the game, winning it for most of it. They needed to win that game. They couldn't afford to lose that game.
Lee have played, for me, what I thought Hull FC would play like, in the sense of they look quite disjointed and off the pace.
Yeah, but obviously you predicted Hull FC to do crap.
Oh, that's well
and Hodgson to do. You've got to give props to Hodgson.
Brett
to be fair.
Hodgson is
done
looking
bits.
like a masterstroke of an appointment. Who knew he would literally walk into a coaching job and actually be one of the most competent coaches in the league?
Yeah, obviously it's early doors still, but there's good signs there. The culture's changed at Hull FC. That's the big thing. There's a change in culture there. Defensively, they're better.
Well, I'd rather have Hodgson than Chris Chester, and I think that's a good place to leave that.
Right, well, Saints versus Salford.
Saints.
Yeah, again, gonna have to go Saints. I think Salford will probably do better than they did last time they played Saints, but Saints are just too strong.
I don't know. I fancy that to be the blowout of the round, actually.
Maybe. I don't know. Salford have been getting better, so
I don't know. Saints have got fans back.
Yeah.
Because they're playing on Monday.
Right.
I'll try and get this in a couple more times, by the way. That's my mission.
Last game at Super League round, Warrington versus Huddersfield.
Warrington,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Ian Watson, you've beaten a crap Leeds team with no creativity by a point. You are not off fraud watch yet. You've got to pull out a result against an actually competent set of players at this point, not the under-18 Academy League.
Yeah, I think, again, Warrington, are looking really good. Obviously, the cup win against Catalans as well after beating them the week before in the league. I think they'll be, I think Warrington have got a lot of confidence going through them. They're one of them teams where early on, they looked a bit shaky maybe round 1, but they've actually come back now and Widdett's looking good, Austin's been looking good, that sort of thing. They're actually getting a bit of shape going. And I think on the day, in terms of just off the cuff playing good rugby, I think Warrington's probably the best for that in league. I think Saints, you're going to get your Saints is pure structure. The forwards are going to lay the platform, and you're going to get your wingers involved, scoring a lot of tries, Grace and Makinson, because that the structured plays. Whereas I think you're going to see Warrington score more. Like if you've got a team on their own line, that Warrington have got probably the most chance of actually going the length of the field to score. I think they've got them off the cuff sort of players. Austin, Widder, even Ratchford's got that play. Darryl Clark. I've been impressed with Toby King as well. There's a lot of talk about him going to potentially OKR. But he's one of the hottest prospects at the minute in terms of where
he's... That's a big signing for OKR to pull that off.
Yeah. A lot of teams are going to be in after him, though, because he's arguably one of the best centres in league, and for England and in league, definitely.
Let me just say this. Hurrell is out of contract at the end of this season.
Do you think, Leeds-wise, though, do you think they'll buy a centre, or do you think they'll just go sort of Broadbent and Newman?
I think Newman and King would be a great partnership, and it frees up an overseas quota spot. And as much as I love Hurrell, he is not currently playing like he warrants a new contract.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I like the guy. I think his charisma is probably the best in the league.
Yeah.
But you don't pay marquee player wages to Ronnie the Rhino, which at the moment, Conrad is effectively Ronnie with a lion's mane.
Yeah. I know what you're meaning, but I think, you say about...
Photoshop job for you. You got to get Xavier Woods playing his stupid tuba and Conrad Hurrell's face photoshopped on.
Gosh.
There you go. Right, but you can note that down as your job on edit this week.
But I think in terms of, like you say, King and Newman, that sort of thing where in 4 or 5 years, well, maybe not even that, maybe 3-4 years' time, that's England's centre partnership potentially, there's that much potential.
And maybe Broadbent at fullback now is the best Jack at fullback at Rhinos.
Yeah. Right.
There you go, controversial opinion. Right, next game.
We'll move away now from the Super League fixtures over to the Championship, Superior League, like we've said. So we've got Batley versus London. For me, I'm going about Batley.
I'm going to say Batley.
At home, Batley are on form. You're kind of thinking, when are they actually going to lose a game? Either due or loss or
Not this week.
Not this week. I think they'll be too strong for London. I think Batley have got some really good structure that they're throwing around as well with halfbacks and that sort of thing. So I'm impressed by him, to be honest. Next up, Fax versus Sheffield. I'm back in Fax. I think Sheffield have deteriorated a bit since the first sort of week or so when they obviously beat Bradford.
Fax I don't know.
Close game, no. Don't get me wrong, close game.
For the sake of going something different to you and having a bit of interest in this, I'll go for Sheffield.
Sheffield, yeah. Then we've got Whitehaven versus Toulouse.
Toulouse.
Up at Whitehaven.
Toulouse.
Unless it's absolutely pissing it down muddy as all.
Then Toulouse will only win by a few points.
Yeah, maybe. But Whitehaven they've got some good little players, but again,
Toulouse have got a better squad.
Yeah, you can't really look away from Toulouse on that one. Widnes versus York.
York,
100%.
They won't score 70, but they will come away with the 2 points.
I think it might be 69. No.
Of course you'd want that number.
Too bad, I literally just subtracted 1 off of 70.
Yeah, alright.
Right, Bradford versus Newcastle. With fans.
My heart said Newcastle, but my head says Bradford.
With all Bulls fans in attendance with drum going and stuff.
Oh, well, that says it all that you all fit in one game. We can't get all our season ticket holders in a single match. There's too many of us.
Yeah, well, the thing we like Bradford is a lot of people, like I know, they just didn't renew the season ticket because they didn't know they'd be able to actually go to games.
And because you literally checked into someone else's apartment.
Well, yeah, a lot of people don't because for me...
I bet you'll get more back when you go back to Odsal.
Yeah, well, it is actually a decent distance between the two. For me, I live in the middle of them both, so for me...
this is a good point, because Leeds side of Bradford, you're laughing. If you're out the other way, going more towards the Huddersfield side...
Yeah, or if you're going...
That's a long-ass trek to get to Dewsbury Stadium.
If you're other side of Bradford City Centre, so you're talking like Keighley way.
We're talking especially if you're on North Edge, you've got to come through Bradford.
Come through Bradford and all the way along.
That's an awful journey, actually.
Yeah, well, it's a good hour, isn't it? Probably with traffic.
Well, M606 is probably about 4 hours.
Yeah, true.
Here's a non-rugby opinion. M606 worse motorway than the M25 in UK.
M6 is shortest, isn't it? M606 shortest motorway in Britain.
It's still shit.
I know. I've
In terms of smiles per mile, it's got to be at the bottom with the M25, which I'm sorry is literally just a slug.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Swinton versus Dewsbury. Swinton on 0 points. Remember, I'm backing them this week. Swinton are going to get off the line.
They're going to get off. They're going to break the duck. They'll beat Dewsbury.
Yeah, and then last play, Fev versus Oldham. Is there an upset?
No.
Nah, it's got to be Fev on it at home
The
as well.
only upset is going to be from the Oldham fans that trek to go watch the team get hammered.
Yeah, well, the Caxton Norway fans.
Is it at Fev?
Yeah, it's at Fev.
Oh, well, even better then.
Flat cappers will be out as well. They'll be scrapping.
Oh, they'll be all on roof. Half of them won't bother going to the ground. They've got a freebie going up on terrace.
Right, and we'll finish off as predictions with League One. So we've got Crusaders versus Hunslet.
Crusaders, why not?
I'm backing Hunslet.
Go on then.
West Wales,
interesting.
West Wales versus Coventry. I'm backing West Wales on this one.
Do you know? I don't know. I'm not going to be honest. Not 100% interested. But I have a fantastic Coventry Football Manager save going at the moment, so I'm going to go Coventry for that reason only.
Right, Workington versus London Scholars.
Workington,
it's got to be on it.
God, I didn't want Broncos.
The tie of the round, Barrow versus Keighley. That's a tough. I'm going to say Keighley.
Home advantage.
Keighley are looking quality. Doncaster versus Rochdale.
Donny.
Yeah, that'll be a close one as well. That actually, Doncaster probably just edged that for me as well, and that's it for his predictions.
Cool.
But that's it.
That's probably all shit then.
Yeah, probably all going to go to shit.
So when Saints lose the first game this season, Lee managed to pick up 2 points. Wakefield put nearly a century past Leeds, and
Toulouse and Fev both get beaten. Don't go and beat them.
And Widnes thrash York 69-0 instead, to quote Cam's favourite number. Then we show exactly how genius we are.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, let us know your predictions and that sort of thing down below. Let us know if you prefer the studio. Obviously, like you say, you can probably tell we're a bit rusty. We haven't been in studio in nearly a year now.
Well, all our technology is broken, hence why we've got one mic plonked in the middle. Spoiler about what might change in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if the audio sounds shit, that's why.
Yeah, in terms of, obviously we're going to have, like we said, some new mics. We're going to get kind of more of a backdrop, make it feel more.
Well, we want to.
Yeah, it's always what we've wanted to do, but we've always been sort of we were starting up, and then we had to stop because of COVID. Then we went back in for a bit, but we didn't have enough time to actually arrange stuff, and then we had to go.
Then we were back at home again, and now we're back for a week. Then we're at home again because you're working and Sky. Sky. Sky have fucked up for Leeds, but the rest of us having to go back on Monday have been moved. And then we should be back to normal. Yeah, hopefully back to normal then. And like we say, we'll try and get, obviously, the equipment, everything will be improving. Because now we're actually back in studio, it's kind of easier to actually get stuff sorted and planned. And we were saying, all these ideas and stuff that we've got for Saturday videos, more real life, going to games and stuff like that, and them sort of videos, we'll actually be able to do now, which we haven't been able to do. That's why it's sort of been... And also, a lot of the time, that actually works well not doing them here. Yeah. So hopefully that means we can bring the more appropriate content to you and keep that as high as we can. Yeah, and keep stuff fresh as well. There'll be more differing content, you know what I mean? Some stuff will be more... He's finished uni and you should see the list of editing things he's got to do for the relaunch of rugby this week, which I'm sorry is going to be full of memes, of joking about. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to be the fun show of the week. Yeah. And yeah, he's got to edit it all, so F's in the chat for Callum. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get that sorted. But other than that, I think we'll sign it off. First one back in studio. Yeah. Welcome back we'll see you in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks back in person. Next week. Enjoy our avatars next week. Yep, and we'll catch you later. See you later.